Hello everyone, it's Tonya with Scribbles in Time, and thank you so much for being here with me. I'm really excited to be here to show you this journal. The title of this journal is 1835, and I'll kind of talk about that in just a minute. But I finished this journal right before Christmas, and I had made this journal for myself. And when I finished it, it was right in the midst of getting ready for Christmas. We were celebrating Christmas at our house, and anyway, it's a long story, but this journal was and is so special to me. It may end up that I still end up keeping it if it doesn't sell. Y'all know how I am. If a journal doesn't sell, I'll pull it and keep it. But anyway, I will try to get this posted on my Etsy, hopefully before the video uploads. But if not, it'll be soon thereafter. But when I made this journal, I made it, so much of this was to be kind of a daddy journal, because since my dad passed away, hummingbirds have just been kind of a significant sweet reminder for me. And anyway, but it was never meant to be like a a grieving journal or a sad journal. It just, I fell in love with this journal every step of the way. As I was making it, everything just kept falling into place with it, and I can't explain it when things like that happen. It's kind of really, it kind of makes me sound like a weirdo, but these little things will pop up on my desk that I don't remember seeing, and I'll be like, oh my gosh, that's perfect for this spot, and just things like that. And anyway, so when I made this journal, it was I was excited about it, but it was such a busy time in my life, just getting ready for Christmas and everything. So what I did is I had made this little writing journal, inside of it removable. And I did not name it 1835 at that time. In my mind, I was calling it my yesterday, because what I did is I pulled this journal that I had in here, and every day I tried to journal just a little bit about my day before. And I think I started that, I think it was January the 3rd. Yeah, January 3rd. And so just to show you, I had one of the metal plates that had my son's year of birth on it. And so I had used this journal inside of here. And I'm not going to kind of open it, because I did journal in this a lot. But my intentions had been to do what I don't think I journaled on this part. But my intentions had been to do what I normally recommend with my journals, and that was to kind of journal in one section and do artwork in the other. But for some reason, I could not get as far as I got was just doing this. And then I started putting a lot of pressure on myself. I do practice sketching a lot. I wanted to actually watercolor in this a lot, but I was, I just love to sketch. That's my passion. I don't know if y'all remember when I showed this Waverly book a long time ago. I think they all had sold except for this one. I can't even really remember now. But this is the one I'll practice sketching, and then I'll do the final sketch in this book, but then I practice on all the little pieces of paper I have laying around. And so what I did was I put one picture that I had sketched, and it was that one I just did the duplicate of in here. But I practice and practice when I do sketches, and mostly I do trees, but I do love doing mountains. And my dad was a kayaker. He loved to kayak, and we had this sweet print that we found at a little boutique, me and my sister, and she got one and I got one. Actually, she bought us both one, and it has a kayaker silhouette in it, and it just looks, just the body shape, everything just looks like my dad. And so anyway, I had been practicing this sketch right here. I finally did it in this book, but then I had put it in here. So I'm kind of like, I don't know, this has served its purpose for me, for where I'm at right now. I have put one sketch in here, and then I did pull this one because I had journaled in it. So I made another one. And that's where it's it starts getting kind of funny, because when I made the other one, I just literally reached in my wooden bowl and pulled out one of these to go on it, and I didn't even notice. But so the one I pulled out just happened to be 1835, and I didn't even really, I thought it was cool that it was the 18s, because I love the 1800s and journals and referencing that. But what I didn't even realize was when I made it, I had put this little piece of paper, this tidbit of paper here on the side, and it had 1835 on it also. And for me, that was just so coincidental. And really, if y'all saw how many of these I have in my little wooden bowl, I have probably 50 of them at least, and I just literally reached in there. The ones that are significant years for me, like my year of birth, my son's year of birth, anything that's significant, I'll usually pull and put in one of my, I call them my bougie bowls. I have little wooden bowls around my house that I put stuff that means something to me in. But anyway, so that one I had pulled from one of my bowls. I know this makes no sense to everybody. I'm really making myself sound silly. But anyway, so I randomly pulled that, and when I did, it just was like a happy moment for me. And I know that sounds silly, but it was. It was just one of those weird little happy moments. So anyway, I have decided that I am going to post this again. If it sells, great. I will know that it's meant to be. If it doesn't, that's fine. I'll pull it and keep it, and I probably will swap that one back out and put this one back in and start trying to add some watercoloring to it as that mood starts to strike me. But I was just putting way too much pressure on myself, and it became one of those things where I was getting in my head about it. And usually when that happens, I have to back off and like reset and let things go. So let's start talking about the journal. Thanks for listening to me ramble. But so we're going to call this one 1835. And as you can see on the cover, there is a hummingbird, and it's like this was not a brooch. It was actually a pendant, and I have two of them. I got it off of eBay, and I forget what you call these. Is it? I don't even want to try to butcher the word, but I think the lady who sells these, puts these little stones on these, whatever they're called. Y'all know what I'm talking about, but this pretty filigree piece. And so I bought two of the hummingbirds from her, and they were rather pricey. And then I stitched this one down to some fabric. You can see where it's kind of, I pointed here. It's not stitched there. It's stitched right here and right here onto this little snippet behind it. And then this is a metal plate cover. And I got my husband to actually go out there and snip it. I tried, but my hands are too weak to snip through it. But he snipped it in half, and then I slid the two halves together. You can see right there where the little screw hole is, where you screw it into your light plate. So there's the hole there, and then the other one you can't hardly see because it's underneath the snippet. But I actually, if you look real close, you'll see that I actually stitched all the way through all of the book covers and connected this on so that it just super secures all of this. I really try to make my journals, I hope that they're heirloom pieces, and I try to make them so that they last, hopefully, for generations, because they're meant to record so much about our life. So yeah, for mine, I had initially started calling this my yesterday, and I was trying to journal about the day before, but now we're going to call it 1835, and that's kind of what the cover looks like. Now, the metal plate that I pulled out and put here, that has no reference to any numbers, but it's really cool looking there. And then this beautiful piece of, I think this is off of an old wedding dress. I got this off of Etsy, and it's so pretty. Again, I went through and used things out of my bowls that I had been holding on to, kind of like in my, I call them, me and my sister have named them bougie bowls because we have them all over our houses with stuff that's kind of quirky in them. But anyway, I'd had that in a bowl for a long time. And then I just kind of did one of the Lily of the Valley ruffles back there behind it. That's what was still on my desk when I made that last journal. So if y'all remember, I put some of that in that last journal. And then over here is this metal cap top, and I just kind of put that over there just for a little quirky thing that kind of pulls the eye over here. There's some frayed fringe right here, but back when it was mine, that kept snagging on stuff, and so I went in and just kind of put glue on it because that kind of thing does not bother me. I mean, that's just kind of what I do with my stuff. I like my stuff to look, I guess, old and grungy and used. So that's kind of what I did. And I have found that with me, if things already look grungy and used, I'm not as intimidated to use them. My intimidation with this one, it was the pressure I was putting on myself to paint. I'm just not there right now. So book cover here. This book cover is just really pretty. It's got these little, I call it the Harlequin pattern on it, but it's just that diamond pattern. And then this beautiful trim around it, this not embellishment, the raised area. I don't remember what that's called. The raised design on the sides, and I went in and just kind of grunged it up with some black stays on. And then there's gesso all over the cover, and black gesso, white gesso, old paper, and that kind of just shows you what the cover looks like. Coming across the side is the snippet spine, like I like to do, and then I put some old ribbon across here. This ribbon used to have wire in it. It's really old. The wire had rusted, so I've pulled all the wire out, and I actually have used that in journals already, but you can see the rustiness where the wire was, and I did not wash that off. This ribbon had never been used. It's still on the spool, but you can just see where the wire had kind of rusted up the fabric. So that's the spine. And then if you look this way, you'll see the inside of the book. It is so yummy. And then the back of the book is actually the front of these Waverly series of these books. So I used the back cover as the front cover as the back of this one. And then obviously the spine had been coming here when this was its original book, so I cut that off and just grunged up the side. Now a lot of times, y'all, if you've watched my videos, you know that I'll put like fabric or something down that just to you know, kind of cover that raw edge up. But I personally, again, was making this for me, and I love the raw edge. I love the grunginess that gives you. And then I had went in and grunged up the back, and I don't know if y'all have ever heard the song "Fear Is Not My Future," Jesus, You Are. So I had started just kind of writing randomly on there. I put "Fear Is Not My Future," Jesus, You Are. Heartbreak is not my home, Jesus, You Are. And death is not the end, Jesus, You Are. So I just kind of, you can kind of vaguely, it's just a hint there. It's one of those things, I kind of know what it says, but other people wouldn't have, but now you do. And then I just wrote Scribbles in Time on the bottom. I just did that because I actually went in and you know, signed the little sketch that I put in here. But anyway, there's wood buttons here that are attached through the cover of the book. Again, these bands are not functional. They're just for looks. You can see how like wonky and haphazard it all is. Again, I love that. Y'all, I love this so much. Like, I have had this, I have hoarded this for so long. I don't know what you call that stone right there, but I love it. It's just that cream with that little hint of brown. And it came off of a necklace, I think, and it's just so pretty to me. And then I put one of the other ones, I think is hanging out the top somewhere. We'll probably come across, oh no, it's hanging out the bottom. Somewhere. We'll come across it. There it is. It's black. It's got the black stone right there. Anyway, we'll come across that in a minute. Okay, so when you open the journal up, my journals do not normally lay flat. This one kind of lays a little bit flat, but usually mine don't lay flat because I just put so much kind of odd stuff in them, and I'm good with that. That's just kind of the way I utilize my journals. But when you're writing, it's sometimes hard, so you either have to have like a press board to put behind your pages, or I made this removable, obviously, because I removed the one I had written in. So it had been removable because I like to just literally take this out and keep it by my chair. This one has not been written in, and I did it identical to this one, just a different metal plate on the front. Now this had some little you know, personal things. My son will end up with that. It's got his year of birth on the cover, and he always, every year for his birthday, he likes for me to give him some type of, you know, like memories or journaling of my childhood and things like that. So I think he'll appreciate that. But anyway, the pages are all extremely grungy. I stamped Amazing Grace there. It's stamped in this one too, but I've written all around it talking about God's grace. But anyway, so the pages, it's so grungy, and when I'm grunging this up, I'm burning it. I'm putting gesso and ink and all kind of stuff on it. And then my whole goal is to, obviously pages can start to come out over time because this is, I don't know that this was ever meant to be that grunged up. So I try to put some type of either paper or tape or pieces of fabric across the pages just to attach them to the next page. So for the most part, and then sometimes I'll skip a page because you have to remember that Like this page, where are we at? Nope, I skipped a bunch of pages there. There's a piece there. But you just have to remember that tape's holding one page on, so then that page is secure. They're all secure right now. What I'm referencing is, 2 years from now, 5 years from now, as they're getting used, you can see where it had once been wet down the center. I just feel like it's always good to have tape in here to represent the ways to hold the paper in. So that 10 years from now, if the page starts to come out of the book, just to go in and throw some tape on there. And then also, I always say if you're journaling on a page and you mess up while you're writing, just get a piece of paper and tape across it or glue across it, and then write on top of the paper, but hide the boo-boo with the piece of paper. Anyway, that's my little hint for the day. I say it every video, so it's not much of a hint. Anyway, this section right here came out while I was working on this, which happens when I'm doing these because, again, they're getting all sopping wet. So when that section came out, it's in here. I tucked it in a little pocket in here, so I'll show you that as we get to it. And then on the front of this part of the journal, there's like this, I guess you might would call that kind of a belly band. It's more the snippet. Again, I've done some, it's kind of what I do. I kind of write all in mine. So yeah, I've written my little self notes in here, and I don't think I think that one says Amazing Grace. But anyway, that's kind of what it just looks like underneath the book. And then this is actually got a little opening there so that you can slide this back in, just like that. So that reattaches the writing journal to the inside of the outer journal. Okay. This is a piece of, the chairs that are outside the, they're not wicker, whatever you call this burlap, I guess, that wicker burlappy straps that you put on chairs when I think they are really typically going underneath where the cushion's going to go. I had gotten a big roll of that from, I think her name's Johnny, can't remember now. But anyway, so I just used that across my spine, and I kind of stitched it down here. It's not, if I'm being honest, I didn't have the pencil in here. I just put this little mechanical pencil in there because I had my readers tucked in there. I always like to have a place for my readers. I have 1,000 pair of readers, but I'd had my readers tucked in there, and that's just kind of where I kept those. This is not the pair I actually have my pair on right now, but I kept the readers kind of slid down in that just to have those on hand when I needed them. And then you'll see the little wooden kind of navy blue and khaki buttons there that's stitched on, and that's stitched through the cover and out into this area. And then a paintbrush is slid in this slot, and it's just, I did have to kind of cut the end of it off and sand it and kind of grunged it up so that it wouldn't stick out too far. I didn't mind it showing. It actually looks cool showing, but I didn't want it sticking out too far because it was pretty long. This is a pretty like embroidered placemat, and I put this piece of wood right here as a tab because it shows when the journal's closed, and I just think it's really cool. I don't know how well it's showing with that wood underneath the book, but it's really cool when you're looking at it. So that's attached there, and I just kind of ran some cord around it. I did not even do that when I made the journal. I did that later on after the fact. And on this page, I just put this little piece of gold metal with a little metal button that has a flower on it. Am I in frame? I hope I'm in frame. And I just thought that was a pretty thing against that flower. You'll see that I already put gesso all over all my paper because when I do paint, I love to do it in layering and that kind of thing. Every now and then I'll try to do like a detailed painting, and I don't want all this on the paper, but most of the time when I'm painting, it's, it's just doodling or my scribbles in time. So a lot of the paper, so a lot of times when I'm painting, not always, a lot of times I like to, it's almost like you're looking at clouds and trying to find pictures in the clouds. Sometimes if you put this weird base down on a paper, I did it again over here somewhere, here, you can almost start to make shapes out of this. And then you just get one of your black pens, like a felt tip pen or anything, and just start like I could see turning that into a flower right there. But you start to look for the shapes in the globs of paint. There, I can make a leaf there, and that'd be a pretty little rose over here. I don't know how well you see that. But anyway, I start looking. See, I get so inspired when I'm looking at this, but for some reason I have not been able to get myself to paint lately. But anyway, you start almost looking like you're looking for a picture in the clouds, and then just start creating the picture. Your eyes will almost just see it on the paper most of the time. I guess not always, obviously. So anyway, that's what this is. I was just creating a base so that it would maybe inspire me. I put a piece of that. Y'all remember on the last journal, if you watched the video, I had a lot of this wrapping paper. Well, it was because it was still on my desk from when I made this journal. So here's a tab where you can attach something into this journal. I do line all my center of my pages with fabric in this in the mixed media pages, because that gives the paper more, integrity if somebody is water painting in here. Over here, I just kind of put this tab. It says something a green. I think that was like a green field or something, but I cut it and put it there with this ribbon because I had attached that button there. What else? This precious little bunny rabbit. It is removable. I did not, I stitched a cord around it and just kind of single looped it like this so that you can remove it. I just think this is the cutest little bunny rabbit. Easter's coming up, so of course it wasn't when I did this, but spring, I was not looking forward to spring. Pollen's going to get me. But it was right before Christmas, and I was trying to think ahead of the springtime and just put things in here that would inspire me. And so yeah, this just goes back there, and I just put this cord there so that it can be tied in and untied. And I think I just kind of did like a little single loop-de-loop so that it's not, it's easy to kind of just pull the one string and remove it. Okay. I put fabric here to help secure where I had went through the paper with my needle. Here is the center of a signature. There is a felt ball there with a little pearl looking bead there. And then on the top, there's a little cross. It's gold on one side and then white on the other. Hope I'm in frame. And this is the one sketch I put in here, and this stick is just all grunged up. I mean, you can see, so this tore off of something. I don't know what. I have like 3 of them. It was probably some kind of piece of wall. It might have been an inspiration rope or something I had made at some point. I don't even know now. But it had tore off, so you can kind of see the grunginess, little pieces of the, I guess, glue, all of that. There's paint on the stick. Old paper is glued to the stick, but I love it. I just love that stick. And I'm weird. And you can see the paint there. To me, it's just it's a quirky layer to this that I think is just fun. And then this is the little sketch I attached to it. I just went in and put my name on there. And then I did this as a flip. I've had people say, and I get it, I'm that way myself, although a lot of times I don't, a lot of times nobody else really sees my journals. But a lot of people have told me that they don't like their stuff to show. And so I've gotten to where I try to put little flips and stuff for you to, if somebody does purchase this, it kind of hides if they want something not to be so obvious. And then on this side, that's just the cardboard where I attached that piece here, like that. And then on this page, this was one of those tabs that I had put in where you can attach something. So I just attached this, grungy paper placemat. And then the beautiful fabric coming down this mixed media paper. And then the other side of that doily. You can see where I had cut the doily in half because it was a big one. And so I cut it in half and then sewed it together kind of down the middle. And you can see the stitching there from that. Again, my stuff is never, ever, if it's ever precise looking or very, I guess precise is the right word, then it was done by accident because I don't typically do that. For me, that's another piece of pressure, and I just like to have fun when I'm making them. And And for me, it's just something that helps me relax when I'm also using the journal. If I'm using one that's really, really intricate and precise, I always get so nervous. Like, it makes, I don't know, I can't explain it. Y'all, this is a weird thing, and I don't know. I just love this old piece. I don't even know how long I've had this, but I have used this so many times as bookmarks. This has been next to my couch, inside of all different books. I just always throw it in between pages of a book, and just use it as a bookmark. Well, back when I made this journal, for whatever reason, well, I know what reason, we had been reading, we had this book of old Christmas stories. I think they were from the 1800s, and let me tell you, we did not enjoy that book. There was some weird stories in that book. I have to find it. I probably packed it with my Christmas stuff if I kept it. It had some odd, depressing stories, and they were, we thought they were going to be great Christmas stories. So we kind of, you know, with my husband being out of work, we just kind of got up every day from Thanksgiving to Christmas, and we took turns reading a short story out loud. But anyway, when we were done with that, this was right before Christmas, and I'd had this in that book, so I pulled it out and stuck it in here, and I'm going to leave it in here. But I tell you what, I'm going to be sad to see that go, because for some reason, it's just, I love it. It's got leaves on it. It's a piece of upholstery fabric. There's nothing special about it. I don't know why I'm weird. But this is that piece of paper I pointed at a while ago where I've grunged it with paint. You'll see the other side of it in a minute. This is more Lily of the Valley ruffle right there. And I just love it. Another tab where you can attach something. And then here I put this little black ribbon. And I use some of the rusty staples from Kathy at Rust Paper Scissors. Y'all know how addicted I am to those. I need to order some more from her. Kathy, if you're watching, I hope you're still selling those. Please get me some ready. I'm going to have to place an order soon. And then here is a feather. My son found it, and I'm not going to take it out, even though at the time I thought I was keeping this journal, and I might be. But anyway, it's a feather inside of, I just stitched it inside it. I hope it shows. Can you see it? It's the cutest little feather. But it's a feather inside of this clear, like, packaging. And I just stitched around it. Over here, I had an old picture of my grandmother and my dad when he was a baby, when he was real young. He wasn't a baby, but he was young. I'd had it in there, so obviously I took that out. And just put this random old picture in here. Let me hold that up so you can see it. She almost looks like she's outside gardening or something. This sweet lady. And it's got writing on the back, 1961. Well, that's upside down, but it still says 1961 either way, doesn't it? I don't know what's got me in such a silly mood. Okay. And then I put one of the rusty paper clips there to kind of hold that picture straight. And then I hinged this old envelope on here like that, so that, again, you can do whatever journaling or artwork in there and then hide it if you don't want it to show. In the center of this signature, hanging from the end, is that amazing little stone thing that I love so much. And then this piece of ribbon. And then I did make this to where you can swivel it open and journal on that part. And then that's that. And then here's another tab where you can add a piece in. And the pretty fabric coming down that page. And then this is the other side. See, can't you see a flower right there? You see the darker center, the petals. I just love that. But yeah, it's kind of like looking for pictures in a cloud. So that's that. Here is a crocheted placemat with this really cool pin on it. And I just use that to kind of bundle and bunch this thing up. I hope you can see it good. It's really cool. There's twine wrapped around one side of it, and then like a little crochet flower there on that side. And then this has a precious bunny rabbit on it. And again, he is just tied on, so you can untie him and put him somewhere else, or just keep him in here, or whatever you want to do. Here, I'll take him off just so you can see. See if I can get my nails to go under here and get that untied. There he is, just a cute little bunny rabbit. I'll take the time to tie him back later. I know y'all are getting ready for me to get on with this. So this is just a denim pocket, obviously, and I didn't want to, use it on one of the mixed media pages, so I just tabbed it in on one of those tabs. I literally just glued the pocket on, and then I did stitch it as well, so I covered the other side with fabric. But I just wanted that to be extra secure, so I also stitched it. Those tabs have fabric down the center of those also, so that they're very stable. And then this is that little section of that journal that had fallen out. So there's just some extra paper to go in that. The mixed media paper in the center of this one is that other with the black stone. And then at the top is a zipper pull. And then another tab. Oh, this here. So if someone buys this, if you want me to swap this out, there's a J on here right now. It did have F. My last name is Ferguson. And so this was what was in it. But I want to save my F. So F is not available if somebody does purchase this and wants an F. My F I'm keeping. I had went down with mine a long time ago and made little inch marks just so if I needed real quickly to kind of figure out how big something was. It was just a quick reference for me. But I mean, that's not, the purpose of it. I just thought I would show you what I did. But that's what was there, and I did pull a different one and attach there just because I wanted you to see. It looks cool from the outside of the journal, and I do have most letters still available. There's a few that I have used already, but I have most letters available. So yeah, if somebody does purchase this and they want me to swap this out for a different letter, just let me know. If I have the letter, I'm happy to do that for you. And then that completes the flip through of this journal. And there's the back. So from the top, it looks like this. From the side, and then from the bottom. I never did do the measurements. I did, let's see, pull a ruler out. It's roughly, with all the stuff hanging out, it's around 11 inches, but again, that's just the stuff poking out. But you can see it's about 11 inches to where all the stuff's poking out. Coming across, it's probably about 7 inches, maybe 7 1/4 coming across. And then the thickness of it is, with the stuff on the top, we're at 5 inches. See if I can hold it kind of like that so you can see, about 5 inches. So that completes this journal. And guys, I have been, so I've gone through and read the comments. I've gotten a few emails, and thank y'all so much. I love catching up with everyone and hearing everyone's stories. So many have reached out. I got a few emails about, the coyote situation, and one dear friend, if y'all would be praying for one sweet lady that I speak with a lot. I keep saying we're going to become pen pals, but she is going through a health scare right now, and she is in my prayers constantly. I won't say her name because that's not fair since I didn't ask her, but God knows who she is. So if you have a minute, please pray for my friend. She is battling breast cancer and fixing to beat it. She's winning that fight, and but do pray for her to keep her spirits up as she's going through treatment for that. And I think that's just about everything. Thank y'all so much for taking the time to watch my video. And please like the video. Help me with that little, whatever that factor is that YouTube does, because I really need to get back in the swing of things, and I'm trying. I am probably 2/3 of the way done with my next journal. I've been working on it ever since I finished the last one. And then my email is scribblesintime@gmail.com. I'm on Etsy, ScribblesInTime on Etsy, and ScribblesInTime on Instagram. And or please leave me a comment below. I love you all. God loves you. Have a positive day. Get out there and let your light shine, and y'all take care.